I have owned my Mark 7 Fiesta ST for about 6 months now, I think, and I did a bit of a review on it when I got it. I compared it to my TTRS, but I've lived with this car for a bit longer now. It's stage 2, so it's running sort of 235 horsepower, and I want to do a full review of what I think about it, what I like about it, and what I don't like about it, because I think there'll be some things that surprise you. Let's talk about the aesthetics of this car, how it looks. Now, this is the front angle. I'd say it's a nice looking car. You've got the TRC front splitter, you've got black badges on the front, and it obviously sits quite nice because it's on springs, it's on IBAC red lines. If we go down to the side, you'll see the fitment, and obviously the wheels are out more than they are usually because I'm on 5mm spacers, 15mm spacers on the front, and 20mm on the back. I'm on IBAC red lines, as I think I said, and they drop the back by a bit more than the front. Now, funnily, I could do with the back being dropped even a bit more. I don't know, there is springs that do that. I feel like the best thing you could do would be coilovers, which I will think about at some point. Then we come to the back, and the back, I like the back. A lot of these mods weren't done by me. You've got the mud flaps, got the aftermarket lights. Yeah, it's a nice looking, it's an aggressive looking rear. We've got I believe that's the Maxton diffuser. And blacked out lights I've never been a fan of, honestly. But when the rear lights are actually on and you've got the red sort of beams through it, it looks really good. Let's get on to the looks of the interior, because this is the weakest point of this car by far. So excuse how dirty it is in here. But first thing I want to say is the steering wheel is actually very nice. I'm quite a big fan of the steering wheel. The seats are obviously the Recaro seats, and they're also very nice seats. The thing I really can't get on with in this car is this center console. It's possibly the ugliest center console I've ever seen. Now, is there things you can do to replace all of this? I don't know. There probably is if you've got the money to spend. Not money that I want to spend, personally. You do forget about it. You don't think about it, and that's the main thing. Like, when I got the car, I was like, oh, that is really ugly. I don't want to be looking at that. But I don't think about it other than trying to review the car like this. Let's talk about the power of this car. So I've just had this car tuned by AJ Motorsport on LED performance software, and the power figures I got, I had the dyno, I can show it at another point. It's 235 brake horsepower and I think 418 newton meters of torque. So pushing out a lot of torque, almost to the level that a big turbo will on these. And I went from stage one, and let me just tell you that this car's light, right? And this car feels very quick. Now, I drove home from Essex about an hour and a half after getting this car tuned, and a lot of people told me that stage 1 to stage 2 wasn't really a difference, that it wasn't worth the money. Now, all I actually needed to add was the intercooler, so I made the jump, and I figured I can tell people if it's worth the difference. Let me tell you that there is a huge difference. Do not believe people who say there's no difference. Now, I did go from one company's map to another. Maybe that was part of it. This car pulls harder. Like, the torque, I think it feels a lot faster. Even if it's not a lot faster, it feels very capable. It feels like it keeps up with a lot of things on the road. Obviously, you come into an actual fast car and you get absolutely smoked. But generally, you can have so much fun. And in 95% of situations, the power is perfect. So what about the handling of this car? So if you can see down here, this car has, okay, I don't think has a rear anti-roll bar. So we've got a white line rear anti-roll bar. We've got a short shifter that is just a bolt-on short shifter, obviously lowered on springs. And this car handles really well. To be honest, I knew it would. I've watched a lot of reviews before buying this car, and a lot of reviews said it was really fun, surprisingly fun for such an affordable car. And I think that's the main thing about this car, is it does a lot of things very well for not a very expensive price. And yeah, the handling, it's really direct, it's really sharp, and it just takes corners so well. The grip that you can get as well I'm on Goodyear tyres. The grip is amazing, around corners especially. And yeah, you can have so much fun in this car, and I'm daily mind blown by how much fun I can have in a car that doesn't cost me much at all. And that kind of brings me on to maintenance stuff and things that I'm not so happy about. So I actually did a video on my TikTok about this. So maintenance wise, I don't think I've actually spent any money on this car that I didn't kind of want to. Does that make sense? So I got it serviced, I got the cam belt done. Technically, I did them early, I could have pushed them back, and I could have not spent any money on this car. All the money I've spent on this car, which is a few thousand now, has all been modifications. And the fact that I can run this car fairly reliably and not have lots of issues and be able to spend my money on mods and be in a better, comfortable financial situation is really good for me. I don't earn a lot of money. Like, this car is perfect, and actually it's a perfect daily car. And that was something that I was going to talk about as well. The miles per gallon I get on this car, I'm on an average of 36 miles per gallon, which is really good. Like, really good for the performance. It doesn't get much better than that. So what don't I like about this car? Ziggy, Ziggy, up. Say hello, Bumble and Ziggy. It's how cheap this car feels, and don't get me wrong, it is a cheap car. It's Ford, and they're not exactly known for their build quality. A lot of the areas, even when you're driving the car, feel very, I don't know how else to explain it other than cheap. Like, it just, everything feels a bit flimsy, and like, especially you close a boot and it makes this horrible, like, loose, flimsy sound. And that's my main gripe with these cars, honestly, is that they don't feel solid, they don't feel stable. Obviously, you're putting a fair amount of power through a light front wheel drive car. They're gonna feel a bit scatty, they're gonna torque steer a bit. But yeah, it was the biggest difference between this car and my Audis, where in the Audis everything felt very solid and it felt a bit more like a spaceship, whereas these feel a bit more like a go-kart, which is great. But sometimes you're driving to work, you're doing the commute to work, and you want things to just be comfortable and sturdy. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of, yeah, that's my only issue with this car. But you can't really expect much more from a car that doesn't cost you much at all. So in conclusion, what do I think about this car? I think that this car is a brilliant car, honestly, and I can't say one of the most fun hot hatches you can drive, because I haven't driven many hot hatches, or even really any. But I do know that this car makes you smile. It gives you a lot of joy. It's very fun. It's very light. You can chuck it at roundabouts. And it's totally worth the money. And that if treated well and maintained well, that actually it's very reliable as well. So if you're thinking about getting these cars, I do recommend it. Just be aware of how cheap things feel. But otherwise, I'd say go ahead and get this car. Even as a daily, it does a lot of things very well. And I'm going to start trying to do more long form videos like this. And if you enjoy them, then please do follow, subscribe actually on here. So I'm used to TikTok. You can find me on TikTok at Clueless Car Guy and on Instagram. But yeah, peace out, guys.